we are kind of trying to convince the one who is doubtful, I suppose.
Yes.
Because I'm actually really shocked at how many churches out there. I can think of just 2 or 3 that I can just name off the top of my head. And I'm sure if we kept digging, we'd find more. They're established churches, and they do not have an audio podcast. And so here's the thing with the advancement in like internet speeds, and obviously now, smartphones, mobile devices, this is just a mainstream thing. A lot of people are kind of podcasting has been out for a while.
It has been.
But it's had this kind of resurgence in the recent years because it's kind of like the technology caught up, if you will, with the actual capability that a podcast can have. So a lot of people are using it, for ways to, because for me, it's a way that you can just very simply and really pretty safely, like for example, if you're driving, if you're on a run or whatever,
right.
You can just listen to something. You can be entertained. You can learn. You can be inspired. Whatever. So that's why so we're kind of making our case, if you will.
Right.
So first of all, when you think about like the supply of podcast, okay, so the supply is growing. As of April 2021, that's when these stats are from, there are 2,000. So at this point, there's going to be over 2,000 individual podcasts. Now we're talking about podcast shows, okay? The actual individual podcasts that are out there. So there's 2 million. I read that stat. Right?
I was going to say, I want to make sure you read that number right.
2 million, and then there's been over 48 million individual episodes.
Wow.
So this is as of 2021. Now that's up from, and here's what's crazy, is just to see the growth. And I also, by the way, a lot of this is brought from the website podcastinsights.com. It's actually a really cool resource I'd recommend checking out. They've got some cool infographics to kind of visually illustrate this. But this is up from 525,000 podcasts and 18.5 million episodes in 2018.
Wow.
So, really, we've gone 4 times as many actual podcasts, and then about that many times as a little bit less multiply there on the actual episodes.
Okay.
And so it's just growing. That's the point. So,
Right.
So there's a huge supply of it out there. And as we'll cover, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but starting a podcast is easy. Anybody can, in theory, do it.
Right.
Okay.
In any field, anything, really.
Yeah. So some people would say, well, that's why I haven't done a podcast, because there's so many out there, whatever, and yes, there does become a point, just like with YouTube and videos and anything, like the market, if you will, gets very saturated. However, there is a huge supply of podcasts, but there's also a really big demand of podcasts. That is also growing. So